Hello, and welcome to Pay Per Previews as you are joined by me, OLED. And over there, my tag team partner for all preview shows, Chris Parrish. How you doing today, Parrish?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Ready and excited to talk about this show because while I don't think there will be a lot of surprises on this show, I think we're in for some good matches, some fun times, and a crowd that, if they're anything like they were tonight, are going to be very, very loud and very, very expressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think when you're in a new place like Puerto Rico, that was the first time SmackDown was in Puerto Rico tonight.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I think, going to be their first PLE tomorrow for Backlash. They're amped up. They're excited. I think you can attest to when you probably saw your first show live. It's exciting, and
Oh, yeah.
when you watch it all the time and you get to finally be in that audience for the first time and you get to see some of your hometown favorites, whether it's Damian Priest, Selena Vega, or anyone else like Bad Bunny, for example. You're gonna go off this. You're gonna go off and you're gonna have a lot of fun and you're gonna be loud.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, this show is it's not even a bad show. Like there's one match that I'm like, okay, sure, we'll watch it. Thank you, Bubba Duke, for jumping in and joining us. We're gonna try to have a good show. It's gonna be a fun show, I think.
Yeah,
Gonna have to
and
put my head up for the
anybody who
comments.
is yeah, we didn't really expect the comments to be as large as they were on
No,
this
I
thing,
don't know
but
if
I
they've
mean,
changed it
whatever.
yet, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but nevertheless, uh, we'll make it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
But we also want to make sure that we give a shout out to our sponsors. And if you're looking at the tick below, you're looking at rogueenergy.com, where you can use the promo code OLEPODS to save yourself 10% out from that checkout menu. So if you're ever at rogueenergy.com and you want to save a little bit of cachet, don't feel worried because we got your back at OLEPODS as our promo code to save you that 10%. And we also want to make sure that if by chance you're watching either on our Twitch or our YouTube channel and you want to follow us on social media, go check that out, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram at OLE Podcasts, at Twitch at our local establishment, YouTube at our local establishment, or for any advice, any questions, or any concerns, or any other inquiries, make sure you email us at olepodcasts@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our first match. And for that one, we've got the United States Championship is on the line between Bronson Reed, the champion Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley. Now, in the draft, they've been slightly split up. Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory are both SmackDown bound come Monday night. But on Monday night, Bronson Reed continues to be on Monday Night Raw. Do you think that the U.S. title stays on Monday Night Raw, or do you think it's bound for one of these SmackDown boys?
No, I think it's going to stay in the hands of Friday Night SmackDown now, I guess, since it's been drafted there. Even though it used to be a Monday Night Raw title, it's been drafted to SmackDown. I think it's going to stay on SmackDown. I think we're going to see more of a issue between Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley, and I think Austin Theory is going to kind of play the part of, if you remember when JD McDonough, Ilya Dragunov, and Braun Breaker had that triple threat, and he
Mm-hmm.
just kind of backed off and let the two other guys fight it off. And the host of tomorrow's paper reviews, Astrid, hello,
Yes.
hello. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And as I was saying, I think he's just going to play this one smart. Austin Theory is, and he's just going to let the bigger guys beat each other off. Sorry, that was a bad thing. I was going to say he's going to let
That
the
was
big
definitely
guys beat each other up.
up,
I caught
not
myself though.
off.
He's gonna let the big guys do all the grunt work and try to pick his spots. So I have Austin Theory retaining his title actually.
I'm on a similar vein to you. I don't think Bronson Reed is going to win this match. Not that Bronson Reed can't win this match. I think if all three guys were on the same brand, I could very much see them putting the title on Bronson Reed. Unfortunately, the Intercontinental title is already on Raw. I don't see them having both mid-card titles on Raw, especially with us bound to have the new World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. So, with that, I'm going to go in the same direction, but I'm going to slightly deviate from your plan. And I'm going to go with a Bobby Lashley regaining the United States Championship. I think Bobby Lashley wins this one. I think Austin Theory is going to move on pretty far in that World Heavyweight Championship tournament on the SmackDown side. I don't think he'll be the SmackDown representative, as Triple H announced earlier today, but I do think that he'll at least move on through at least one, maybe right before that final, and go ahead and have a big run with it. But I think it's time for him to move to the upper mid card, not so much the main event scene, but the upper mid card scene on SmackDown Live, and start feuding with some of these baby faces. And I can see Bobby Lashley regaining the United States Championship, maybe with a little bit of help from some free agent friends.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Now, care to share who you think that will be? Just so if it does happen, you at least come off very intelligent.
I mean, if it does happen, I think Cedric and Shelton are SmackDown bound. I think the entire... To be honest, I think the Hurt Business is getting put back together. I think that Omos is headed to SmackDown. I think he is going to be one of the big bads beneath Roman that people are going to be feuding with. And I think that a way to do that is to get all of the old Hurt Business guys on the SmackDown side. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Shelton and Cedric hanging out with Bobby again. Especially if he's got some gold around his waist.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Grayson Waller was drafted to SmackDown, correct?
He was indeed.
All right. This is a pairing I think I would love to actually see, and that would be the pairing of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller in some effect. Yes, pun intended. Word intended there.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be shocked to see maybe Grayson Waller help Austin Theory retain said title and see maybe a mid-card two-man power trip, so to speak.
Maybe. I think Grayson Waller is going to be more... I want to see Grayson Waller paired with LA Knight first. I think that would be a much better first stop for him. I know it's bad for LA Knight to lose yet another feud. Maybe you can even have Grayson lose the feud. But I think we can get some fun matches with two guys that already know each other. They can both hold their own on the microphone. And it'll get both guys plenty of TV time to have Grayson Waller working with LA Knight first before we head to potentially working with Austin Theory. Because I could see if you try to flip Austin Theory to a babyface.
I think you're going that way with LA Knight. And I think LA Knight and Austin Theory could be that United States run after if Austin Theory is to retain.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential. Like I said, with the new SmackDown roster, anything is possible. We got to get contenders for Roman. We've got to get contenders for the SmackDown portion of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. We got a bunch of things that we got to do on SmackDown coming up now. So I think it's just a matter of time before we get there. But there's all kinds of fun. There's all kinds of things that we can do. Olé!
Thank you, Bobby, as he knows that I tend to like to do that, as I did that on Thursday during Ring Respect Radio, so I know he's just returning the favor. Also, I want to make sure everybody who is watching on YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up and like, as it does help us out and bring you some more content. So if you're on the YouTube side of things, please give us a like, and if you don't mind, maybe share and tell your friends and let them grab a stool and join us as we discuss WWE Backlash live from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
But I think we're going to move on from the Triple Threat U.S. title match, and we're going to move to the most thrown together match in the history of the world, in the history of all wrestling matches, the most thrown together match. Seth Rollins versus Omos. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about this match. I've listened to a lot of people's opinions, and while I heard a lot of people saying Omos is going to win this, I can't see any reason to beat Seth Rollins before he gets that new World Heavyweight Championship around his waist at Night of Champions.
Yeah, the one thing I think we're going to see out of this match is we're going to see Omos have someone work with him that could I don't want to say guide him through, because I don't know if Omos is that guy anymore. I think he can guide himself through a match, but what he does need is someone to help make him look like a giant. I think one of the big things you had with Brock Lesnar is not going to always, in a ring standpoint, make the other guy look like a giant, because we're talking about a former UFC heavyweight champion and a Division One state amateur champion. So he himself is a big guy. But with Omos against Seth Rollins knows, and it's clear as day, that he not only is the smaller guy, but he's going to be that underdog in terms of the size. He is a smaller dog in this fight, so he needs to use his speed and his wisdom, and in maybe the words of MVP, his experience, as that's one thing MVP has said in the past that Omos is without. So I think that is what you're going to see out of this match. You're going to see a lot of Seth Rollins try to maneuver his way to get past the Colossus. That was Omos. Now he's a Nigerian giant, I believe. That's his nickname.
I believe so.
Yeah. So I think we're going to have some bumps from Seth Rollins to help expedite how good and powerful Omos is. But I think we might even see a dirty finish out of this match. I don't necessarily think we'll get a clean match. I don't think you need to get a clean finish out of this match. This could be a throwaway match because, I mean, it was a throwaway match to begin with, so why not throw it away? I wouldn't be surprised to see Omos win from a DQ because Seth uses a chair to get even with him, therefore looking strong, especially going into that new World Heavyweight Championship tournament that he is, as of right now, one of the strong favorites to win, as per the rumors.
I mean, I have the exact same similar opinion to you, but I'm going to, again, flip-flop it a little bit. I think that Seth Rollins is going to take a bunch of bumps early. And I think as the match goes on, he's going to start letting his speed use the better of Omos. Omos is going to get frustrated, and I think Omos is going to lose his control and get disqualified, whether that be a chair, whether that be something with MVP and he gets caught, something like that. I think Seth is going to use, even Seth pulling an Eddie Guerrero. I mean, I know Eddie Guerrero's not Puerto Rican, but Hispanic culture, all that kind of fun stuff. I could very much see Seth Rollins pulling a little Eddie Guerrero here, slamming a chair on the ground and throwing it to Omos and getting a nice DQ and laughing his way all the way to the back.
And, yeah, I mean, see, and to me, this is a match just because we're so open to what can happen because we still don't understand quite why it's happening. The beauty of it is the expectations can be low and their abilities to do what they want can be high. And I think that's the interesting aspect. We might see a match that we might be talking about tomorrow as I did not expect that kind of match. And I think this has a lot of potential. And I think we could be looking at Omos in a different light come this time tomorrow.
I think that this is the match that Triple H is like, hey, look, Vince liked you. I kind of like you. I'm going to put you out there with my best guy. I'm going to put you out there with my best guy with a crowd that's going to give a shit. These people are going to care. One way or the other, they're going to make noise. If you can get me, one, a reaction, and two, a good match out of it, we'll keep pushing you. If you get me one or neither, guess what? We're probably going to cut you. I think it's one or the other at this point. I think this is Omos's sink or swim moment. And the reason why he was given Seth Rollins is to guarantee the best possible chance that he can swim. Because for months, we've been waiting to see what Omos can do. He was paired with AJ Styles for months. And then nothing really came of it. And it wasn't a great match when they blew off him versus AJ. I think this is the point where they're like, look, if we're going to get anything out of you, it's going to be right now. Wrestle our best. And if you do great, good. We can move forward and see what we've got. But this might be their cut bait time.
Yeah. Also, before we go on to the next match, I just want to invite the audience in the chat. If you have any opinions about what could happen, what might happen, or what you just want to see, let us know. We are very much wanting to know everyone's opinion, not just our own. So let us know what you think can, might, potentially will happen tomorrow night at Backlash.
Absolutely. And moving on, with that being said, we're going to move on to a Raw Women's Championship match. We've got the EST of SmackDown Live as she takes on Io Sky, part of Damage Control, who is now calling SmackDown Live home for the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Oh, WWE Draft. Oh, you do such silly things. Why do you do such silly things? I don't see, unfortunately, any reason for Io Sky to beat Bianca Belair. I think if Bianca were going to have lost this title, she should have lost it at WrestleMania to Asuka. I see no reason at this point now to take it off her at this show. However, if a title's going to change hands, it's going to be this match. This is the only match where I see a potential new champion if it's not the U.S. title that we already talked about. This is the only other match that I see a potentially new champion.
But is Damage Control not on SmackDown? Did they not get drafted to SmackDown?
No, they are. They're on all participants in this match are on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So the title, the Raw Women's Championship, is going to SmackDown regardless.
Yeah, and this is what makes very little sense. I mean, unless they are just swapping the titles between Bianca and Rhea, which I don't know about you. I surely hope they don't do something as stupid as that. I don't like seeing it. I think when you win a championship, you should keep that championship despite the fact. I think the big mistake is making them brand extensive by calling them Raw or SmackDown champion. But with that being said, back to this match. And I think this is going to be one of the most not unexpected, because I don't think it's right to say Io Sky's performance is unexpected. But I think it's going to be one of those where I think she's going to open a lot of people's eyes on the main roster of how good she actually is as a singles competitor. We've seen a taste of what she is capable of on the main roster. If you never saw her in NXT, I'm going to say, one, why not? Two, you will be amazed because this is a very good competitor. And I think she is going to push Bianca a lot. And I think this could be one of Bianca's biggest tests as champion because she is running very dry of new competitors. So right now for that championship. And I think it's in the best interest to make Io Sky as credible as possible. And if by chance we don't have a dirty finish in the last match, We very well could have one here because I somehow don't think Damage Control versus Bianca is over after tonight. However, we saw Bianca get past Bailey multiple times, and I don't think she's gonna be beaten by Io Sky. I'm taking Bianca Belair to retain her Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, like I said, there's little to no chance that they hate this title off Bianca right now. I, I don't agree. I don't think she should still be champion. I think that it would make for more fun and for better booking of your women's divisions if you had a feud that wasn't for the women's championship, and you can go back to Bailey and Bianca, not for the championship. Um, I think this match goes over clean as day, though, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to hinder Bianca with a loss where somebody has to cheat or anything else. Io Sky is going to open eyes. This woman is one of the most talented people. The only thing that would make this better is if Poppy was doing the damage control entrance for this show. That's the only thing that would make it better. But it's going to be a fun match. The girls are going to go out there and kill it.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be like this is to me my dark horse match of the night right here. And there's going to be a lot of them, but I think because it's one-on-one, there's something just very attractive about singles matches. When you strip the match to the bone and just be one-on-one, one fall, winner take it, I think there's a lot of drama and appeal to that. And because of that, I think anything is possible. The one question I do want to ask you is we know that Roman Reigns will be exclusive to SmackDown with his championships, as Triple H said. Knowing that the brand extension comes into effect May 8th, would it be potentially viable to see Bianca Belair still able to defend the Raw Women's title on Raw until she loses?
I mean, theoretically, but then that means that you have to do the same thing with Rhea Ripley. And I see nobody stopping Rhea Ripley until Mania. I don't think Rhea loses that title till Mania. So you're talking about Rhea Ripley being the SmackDown Women's Champion while being drafted to Raw for the next 8 months. Like, I like the idea. It's one of the ideas I always had was, well, just make the champion defend their title on Monday nights, and they can still have feuds on SmackDown as well, and they can potentially ole. Thank you, Darnell. I appreciate it.
Ole, Darnell. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. We're talking a little bit Backlash right now. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, but like I said, I just
also
it's just tough. Like there's no good solution for this because they've already botched it. They've done what they've done. They botched it.
You know what? I have an idea, and I think it could be interesting. We know that there's free agents out there. And I know you're a fan of the next two words I'm about to say, but what if, see what I did there? What if one of the free agents comes to SmackDown, dethrones Bianca Belair as champion, only then to sign to Monday Night Raw? Would that not be a little curious?
That would be great. However, none of the listed free agents are women.
Exactly my point. None of the listed. Perhaps we might see somebody who's not listed.
The only unlisted free agent on the ladies' side, I believe, is Alexa Bliss. I'm trying to think of the women who weren't drafted, who are under contract.
Well, I don't think Carmella got drafted, did she?
No, but she recently announced the reason why she's going to be out of action for the next 12 months.
I know.
And congratulations to Carmel and Corey. I really hope everything goes well.
Yes.
They've fought like hell to be able to have this opportunity. Let's hope that everything goes their way. Yeah, but like I said, even if that happens, it's not the problem of taking the title off Bianca. It's what do you do with Rhea Ripley's championship? That becomes the bigger problem at that point. Because Rhea should not be losing her title for another few months. Unless you make the crazy decision to drop the title to Zelina tomorrow and then have Rhea challenge Bianca and blow your WrestleMania main event, your women's WrestleMania main event, 6 months early, and have Rhea take the title on Raw on the last night that the draft isn't official. Like
I guess to be
that's as
fair, we
far as I
still
can
have
go.
we do have a Money in the Bank coming up, and that could be a viable thing. Another one that I do think is potential. Maybe these titles just get renamed, and the champion that is on each brand will just get that championship moving forward. Maybe we'll see a WWE Women's Champion and a World's Women's Champion or something like
World's
that.
heavyweight women's champion.
You won't hear the phrase heavyweight, I think, with a woman.
Featherweight, maybe.
I just think World's Women's Champion. As boring and bland as that is, I think we might get that. But I think on to the next match.
I was going to say, definitely moving on to the next match. We've got 6 guys who just want to tear each other apart here. We've got on this side, we've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Matt Riddle. And all the way over here, we got the Usos and Solo Sikoa. The Usos have been running the wrong side of the bloodline for the last little bit. They have been unable to bring those SmackDown and Raw Unified Tag Team Championships back home to the bloodline since WrestleMania. Solo Sikoa looks very angry at the end of SmackDown last week. We saw neither hide nor hair of most of these men on SmackDown this week. This is the last time that they will all be on the same show. Because we don't know what's happening with whether or not the tag team championships are floating or not, because they are unified. But are they floating? Are they not? And speaking of floating, we got the floating bro over here, Mr. Matt Riddle, trying to get a piece of Solo Sikoa for taking him out of action for 4 months. Parrish, who you got?
See, this match, I think, can go either way because it's not a championship match. Mm-hmm. And you've got different ingredients like a Matt Riddle who can take a loss without hampering the title reigns of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. However, the Usos are slowly getting their steam back since WrestleMania's loss. And yes, they didn't win the rematch, but I think they're slowly getting that steam back as a unit. However, something tells me that we might see Heyman, whether it's in a backstage skip before this match or maybe during the match itself, sending a message to Solo Sikoa to leave the match, only to allow Jey Uso to take a loss once again to Sami Zayn. Therefore, keeping that now a very intriguing storyline on the SmackDown brand, but also giving that big up to the baby faces. So I have Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle winning, but I think we're going to see some dissension in the bloodline.
Yeah, I'm on a similar wavelength to you on this one. I think that the babyfaces take this match. I think that we are going to see some kind of issue between Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Heyman comes directly to ringside and tells Solo Sikoa that the tribal chief has asked him to come to the back to have a conversation mid-match. And that Solo Sikoa is confused and Solo Sikoa is irritated. But as always, Solo Sikoa does what the tribal chief says. And I think he'll walk away leaving his brothers to get a luva kick, a stunner, a floating bro, and a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Before we go to the next match, I do want to play a quick video from our sponsors at Rogue Energy just to show you what some of their amazing flavors are.
And of course, remember to go to rogueenergy.com to see all those wonderful flavors. And if you use our promo code OLEPODS, you will get 10% off your order over anything. I would say start with the sampling pack. You get a cup, you get some free samples, you get to go ahead and pick like 3 flavors from a small list of flavors that they have. I would suggest going ahead and starting with the watermelon flavor. I know Parrish is big up on that brand new Rocket Pop they just got back in stock. But I definitely say go. But
also for a limited time, they still have some stock in their Tiger Blood, which is a new flavor that they did launch. It is running out, so make sure you get a chance to try that bad boy out as well.
Yes, always the watermelon Astrid. I mean, come on. And speaking of our lovely friend Astrid, she is 2 followers away from 5,000. So if we can go ahead and if you don't already follow Astrid Bizarro...
On what platform, Ed?
On Twitter. So you can go ahead to her Twitter, which is listed right about here. If I do that and I do that, go to Twitter at Astrid Pizarro on Twitter and go ahead and give her a follow. It'll also let you know when she releases her Astrid Asks sometime tomorrow afternoon before Backlash starts, but after Wrestle Draft. But we'll get to Wrestle Draft later. But again, go ahead to Twitter and go ahead and follow Astrid Pizarro on Twitter. And let's get her to 5,000 before the show tomorrow so we can have that celebration as she hosts our pay-per-review show tomorrow night in preparation for that preview, that review show. Do we want to go ahead and talk about it? The match that this crowd is going to be more hyped for than any match on the entire card. It is 2 hometown boys come true. It is going to be Damian Priest versus the most downloaded, listened to superstar, the most streamed superstar in the entire world on Spotify, the Bad Bunny. Mm-hmm. Whom, by the way, I still don't listen to enough of his music. Because I start listening and I'm like, it's okay, and I turn it off.
But in addition, this isn't just your straight-up singles match. No. This is a San Juan street fight, as anything is legal, as we saw at the end of SmackDown.
Astrid Ass will be premiering tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you, Astrid. Greatly appreciate it.
That is 3 p.m. Eastern time, by the way.
It is.
Did not specify, but we know that. So Bad Bunny repped an LWO t-shirt to end Friday Night SmackDown, wielding a Singapore cane that Damian Priest made sure he got none of. So it's going to be very interesting. And rumor has it that the match that Bad Bunny was previously penciled in for was not this singles encounter with Damian Priest, but a tag match with Rey Mysterio as his tag partner up against Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest. But the feeling is that he is more than capable of handling a singles match on his own against Damian Priest. So I, for one, am very interested to see what Bad Bunny has, not just as a singles performer, but how he's able to use that enormous crowd hometown advantage. Because even though he's, as you said earlier, that both men are from Puerto Rico, Bad Bunny is easily the hometown hero, whereas Damian Priest is the villain in this encounter.
Absolutely. I'm super excited for this. I thought Bad Bunny did a masterful job when we last saw him wrestle at WrestleMania against The Miz. I think he's just utterly fantastic. Damian Priest did a very good job in prepping him for that match, along with The Miz and along with other people. I think they've gone through this match, I guarantee it, a few times. They know what they're doing. It's a street fight, so it gives a little bit more leeway to Bad Bunny, where he doesn't have to necessarily put on the flashiest wrestling match. It doesn't need to be a wrestling-centric match. It can be a fight. He can get a little dirty. Damian Priest is certainly going to get a lot dirty in this match. I expect to see not only one, but probably all three of males from the Judgment Day. I don't expect to see Rhea during this match, but I do expect to see the rest of the Judgment Day outside of the ring this match. I would love it if Bad Bunny didn't necessarily have the LWO as support. I would love it if he had some other local flair. I'd love it if we got a Savio Vega. I'd love it if we got a Carlito, a Primo, or an Epico. I would love it if we saw one of the Colognes, or we saw, like I said, Savio Vega. I think that would really pop the crowd. It would fit the storyline, because all of these guys would have been LWO had it existed in WWE. And again, at the end of the day, this match is a fun match to give the crowd something to have a good time with, to give the crowd something to be excited for. Why not give them some of those legends to come out here? Damian Priest can eat this loss. There's nothing wrong with Damian Priest losing this match and letting Bad Bunny have the win. I think storyline-wise, you should put over your talent who's going to be there the next day. However, I see the appeal. I see the writing on the wall. I would say Bad Bunny's going to win this match, and I would love it deep down in my childhood heart if it was Carlito and Primo and Epico, Savio, people like that. Local, legends in this area. Carlos Colon promoted all over the island for many years. It would make perfect sense to have his children here during this match.
I'm gonna agree with the fact that it would be nice to see some of the historic talents representing the from Puerto Rico. However, I don't know if it's needed. I don't know if it's needed in this match, especially when you have a story as strong as Judgment Day versus the Latino World Order, which, come on, we all know that LWO is the Latino World Order. Let's call it that once in a while. I think it merits it. And with Bad Bunny donning that shirt, I think we're going to definitely see the LWO back up Bad Bunny, and we're going to see the Judgment Day, obviously, back up Damian Priest. I think the more I see Damian Priest act in these single encounters, makes me truly think he actually could be a viable option to take that Intercontinental title off Gunther. And I would love to see Imperium against Judgment Day.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to think we might, I'm not going to say I wouldn't be shocked to see Bad Bunny win. In fact, I think knowing how the Rhea Ripley-Zelina Vega match is probably going to turn out, I think you do need to give the crowd something to be absolutely ecstatic for. And I do think the LWO is going to help Bad Bunny win this match. And I think we are going to see and I'm going to dub it now, a Puerto Rico destroyer for the 1, 2, 3.
You know what? Something you were saying that, I'm going to fantasy book here a little bit in my mind. What if the Judgment Day takes out Rey Mysterio and they take out the LWO before the match? If this match goes on as late as we think it might go on in this card, what if you take those guys out of it? Earlier in the night, you're showing that these guys get attacked. all three of these guys blindside the LWO. And there's no backup. And the Judgment Day's like, ha, Bad Bunny's all alone. He's got no backup. It's just us versus him. And all of a sudden, Savio's music plays. And all of a sudden, you hear that music. I feel pity for those who don't want to be cool.
I spit in the face of people that don't want to be
that's
cool.
That's the one. It's been too long since I've heard it.
Spit an apple. Come on.
I know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just... It would be so great to think that Bad Bunny has nobody for him. And there's nobody in his corner. And then all of the... Yes, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the story. But again, you can do whatever you want in wrestling. I think the pop would be great. And if you're going to have that cool pop, I think this is the place you do it. And I think that attacking the LWO pre-match and then having the Legends as backup works. My tag team partner laughing at me for not remembering that Carlito spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool. It's fine. But yeah, I think this is going to be one of the best matches of the night. I think this is my sleeper hit right here. I think with the crowd behind them in this match and the fact that it's a street fight and these two guys are super charismatic, I have no problem believing that this might be the match of the night.
I would say that, only I know what we're going to be talking about later. And there's something about the other matches that I'm just like, ooh, man. But as it comes to crowd involvement, yeah, this is going to be... They're going to make this feel like the main event of the night.
Honestly, I would have... I understand Cody and Brock are on this card. I would have had them go on first, and I'd have had these guys main event. I think you could do it. In this crowd, with this show, with no title on the line, I don't see a reason not to main event with this match. I would have done it. I understand it's not the way.
I will do you one better. I think Rhea Ripley's Zelina Vega should be the match that closes the show. And I think Zelina Vega potentially being the star that shines the most out of this show, I think that is the best case scenario. But this is going to be probably the most invested match. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, and yeah, Astrid, you have a point. Have the crowd leave happy because they'll be super loud. Yeah, but at the same time, as we saw from WrestleMania, the crowd can have the time of their life, but if they get the best pro wrestling storyline at the end and it's the highest moment, I think that's going to be something that they'll still eat up. And I think at the end of the day, you still want Puerto Rico, despite the fact there's a bunch of amazing talent that has stemmed from that area. You still want your top draws to be your top draws, regardless of the country you're in.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, I think there's merits to both sides of the coin. And since we've been talking about them, let's go ahead and move on to that match. We have the SmackDown Women's Championship match. We have Mommy, Rhea Ripley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, who is now residing on Raw, taking on Zelina Vega, who will be residing on SmackDown after the draft. Astrid, I love you. You know how much I love you. Zelina gonna get her butt kicked in this match. She is going to get some spots to be brilliant. She is going to have a good match. She's going to go out there and electrify this crowd. She almost broke down tonight. I guarantee you she probably will tomorrow. She is going to do her damnedest to get herself together for it. However, I think that this match is going to have a very bad ending for Zelina Vega. I don't think she wins, and I think most of this match is going to be Rhea Ripley dominating her with short spurts of electricity from Zelina Vega.
I think this is going to be a lot more of a competitive match than people think. I think we're going to get are moments of Rhea Ripley getting and stomping the smaller Zelina Vega, who, by the way, somehow appears to be creepy happy in the picture we're showing you right now. And it's kind of scaring me. However, back to the match. I think Zelina Vega knows she's the underdog. She is, in this scenario, the Puerto Rico's Rocky Balboa. Really is, because she is portraying the underdog. She knows she's the underdog, and Rhea Ripley is the Draco in this match, right? She is the heavy favorite. She is the one that it almost seems impossible to take down. And I think Zelina Vega is going to give you the fight of her life. I think this is going to be her coming out party. Even though she is the only Queen's Crown champion, I think this is her moment to show the world what she's truly capable of. Do I think she's going to win and take the SmackDown Women's Championship? No. Because no matter what, I think we're going to see a very clean match. But we're going to see Dominic Mysterio somehow weasel his way in and help Mommy retain that championship.
I think it's going to be fun. I think Zelina Vega is going to do all the things that you said she's going to do. I do think she's going to put on a show. I do think she's going to have the match of her life. I think she can both have the match of her life and be dominated for 90% of the match and do both things at the same time. I don't think I would make this, if we're going to do a Rocky comparison. And no, CM Punk, you're not going to understand this. Sorry. You've never seen Rocky. I apologize. You're never going to know what this is. But if we're going to compare this to Rocky, I don't think this is Rocky 4. I think this is Rocky 3. I think Zelina
No, but
Rocky,
I think people understand the characters, and that's why I used.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. I was just gonna say I think Rhea Ripley is more Clubber Lang than she is Ivan Drago. I think she's going to get the job done, and so like in the beginning of the third Rocky movie, you have Mr. T going out there and getting the job done against Rocky Balboa.
See, but Mr. T pity the fools, by the way. Carlito spits.
Mr. P.
Just so you know the difference. I know. I want to help.
Mr. T.
Let me
Carlito,
help you.
They're almost the same. They're almost the same. Ashley's gonna yell at me for that.
No,
that's fine.
No, Ed. They're not the same.
But now, I'd love to see this match. Oh, go ahead.
I want to add one thing though.
Yeah.
Which I think might be very interesting. And I hope this happens in this match. I hope we see a spot in this match where it's maybe 2-3 minutes of nothing but Zelina Vega just getting the up and up on Rhea. That leads to what we all think is a big 1, 2, 3. But the ref misses Rhea's foot being underneath the rope, where a second referee has to run down and explain to this ref that happened and ends up taking it away. I would love to see a tease visual of Zelina Vega holding that championship and allowing that crowd to eat it up. Because they will go ballistic, only for the pro wrestling side in it to come back and snatch it back away, only to have Rhea Ripley come out on top, whether it's, like I said, with that weasel Dominic Mysterio helping her, and they're going to be the most hated villains at the end of the night, because there's no deny how hated Dominic Mysterio is if you saw SmackDown.
I was gonna say,
but I think
you don't get much
hate
more than that man right now.
The visual of Zelina Vega winning, when we talk about her being the underdog, at least there's an image that yes, she can do it. So coming out of Backlash, we still have a viable Zelina Vega who is still ready to fight.
Maybe, like I said, there's so many things that they could do with the show. As predictable as this show looks from the outside looking into some of these matches, if WWE decides to go crazy or they decide to lean into something, there's a whole lot of fun things they could do coming out of this match. But now I'm gonna steal something from your tag team partner on from his Ring Respect Radio. It's now time for the main event. Unfortunately, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. I would not main event that. I would reiterate it to the cows come home. This would not be my main event. I understand that they are your top draws. I understand that they're the reason why this show is going on. Part of the reason. I would put them on first. We have a history of Brock saying if he's not last, he's first. I would love to have this thing go on first, and just let everything else develop from there. But Parrish, what do you think is going to happen with Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar?
I think this is going to be one of the most engaged Brock Lesnars we will see. Because if there's anybody who understands how to take a crowd that's not necessarily his and make him his, look no further than the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, as we saw just that happen when the crowd was just yearning for Sami Zayn. And what do? They end up dying in the arms of defeat with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. They were with them every single bump of the night. And I think the same is going to happen in here. I think Cody Rhodes somehow understands how to get that crowd, despite the country, despite the nation, wanting him to win at all costs. He is that good as a professional wrestler and storyteller. I do not agree with the mindset that just because this is in Puerto Rico, Puerto Ricans have to be the main event. I think they're going to be a very important part of this show. But at the very end of the night, it's still WWE presents Backlash live from Puerto Rico. And at the end of the day, you still need your WWE top guys to be top guys. And Cody Rhodes is a top guy. And I think Brock Lesnar will be the guy who takes a fight to Cody Rhodes that we've never seen before, a brutality we've never seen before. And that's why I didn't say it during Rhea Ripley. I saved that word for here because we're talking about the most real professional wrestler of all time in Brock Lesnar. His track record backs that up, people. Cody Rhodes is going to, if we really want to talk about Rocky versus Dragon, this is pretty damn close.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're going to see probably a brutal fight here. And I think we're going to see Cody Rhodes with blood dripping down his face, standing tall against Brock Lesnar.
Well, Cody's going to love that because we all know if there's one person who likes to bleed just a little bit less than Jon Moxley, we all know it's Cody Rhodes. That man lives for blood. And I want to go back to something you said. I don't necessarily think that the Puerto Rico that saying my emphasis on having Bad Bunny main event isn't necessarily because I think we're in Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rican wrestlers or the Puerto Rican people should main event. I just don't think there's enough in this match that I think your biggest match should main event. Your biggest match on this card is your San Juan Street fight. I don't give two rats' asses about this match. I'll be honest. I don't care about Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Because come Monday, Brock Lesnar's gone for 4 months until SummerSlam. We won't see Brock Lesnar again until SummerSlam. After this,
No, but what
I
you
don't.
will see on Monday is the World Heavyweight Championship. And that is going
Yeah.
to be the main focus of WWE for the next few weeks. And you need to build people that make that championship look important.
I don't think you can build people any better than you've built Cody Rhodes, with the exception of having him beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania in the main event. I don't care.
There's
This match
there's always something.
does nothing for this match does nothing for me. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great to watch. It'll be entertaining. It does nothing for me. I'm not excited for it. I don't care about it. I honestly don't care who wins it, because at the end of the day, Cody's going to be in that match with Seth Rollins, most likely heading into the World Heavyweight Championship picture on the Raw side. It's going to be either Cody Rhodes or Seth Rollins on the Raw side challenging somebody from SmackDown for that World Heavyweight Championship. I think Cody Rhodes' story is still to win Money in the Bank and dethrone Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, or to dethrone Roman Reigns at Night of Champions. I think that's the path for Cody Rhodes right now. And so I don't see why this has to main event. They're big names for a marquee, great. In this market, I think you go old school. You build for the market. In this market, the biggest match you can book is Damian Priest and Bad Bunny.
Yeah, but you know what? You still want one of your best matches to be your main event, and we cannot. As much as I said, WWE has faith in what Bad Bunny can do by himself, and that's why it's not a tag match. I don't think he's a main event caliber talent. That's a very dangerous spot to put him in.
I agree. It's a dangerous spot to put him in.
It's very dangerous.
Here's the thing. I don't think that match has to be nearly as good as this match has to be in order to be considered a better match. I think this match can be better than the other match, and I still think Priest and Bad Bunny will come out being the match that more people want to talk about than this. And
yeah, but the thing with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest is no matter what happens tomorrow night, it ends tomorrow night. Because it's not going to happen on Raw or on SmackDown. It's just not, because they're going to be moved away from each other. Whereas what you're going to see tomorrow is going to be something that you need to be able to see moving forward. This is where the official reset of WWE truly begins, is right when Backlash ends.
To an extent, except with the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, where you have a SmackDown superstar going for the World Heavyweight Championship at Night of Champions. But after that...
No. I say it because right when Backlash ends, everything to what we know of WWE becomes the past, because now the new brand extension takes an effect May 8th, right? On Monday Night Raw. So what WWE moving forward will then go into effect. And what we need is that momentum going in. And I think the most important thing on Monday, going into that opening thing, will be who's going to be the first ever WWE World Heavyweight Champion on the Raw side. That's going to be the major story, and you need your major players like the Cody Rhodes, like the Seth Rollins. And how dare you not put Finn Balor's name in there? Because
he ain't going to be in the tournament.
Remember who the first?
He ain't going to be in the tournament. Why should I bother? WWE doesn't look at him that way anymore. He will not.
Who's the first undisputed champion?
Chris Jericho.
Who? No.
Yes.
Sorry, the Universal Champion.
Well,
and that Yeah, and that
At a
was a
different
title that
time.
Triple H had say in. But that was also a championship that Triple H had say in and pull on who's going to have that championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different time now, man.
Has Finn Balor...
We're gonna see
Finn
a
Balor
name
got...
that is in this match that we won't expect. I'm not saying I disagree with you with the Cody Rhodes Seth Rollins thing. Those are your early favorites. But just like your Bruins, they might be the early favorites. Doesn't mean they're going to go all the way.
Oh, and Parrish unfortunately just drops from the call. I apologize for that for everybody. No, it's fine. I get it. Here's my thing. I don't see... WWE has not given hide nor hair of Finn Balor being a main event player in years. They felt so lowly of him as a main event player that they had the Demon lose to falling off the top rope to Roman Reigns. That's how little they care about the Demon and Finn Balor right now. There is no shot in hell that he even needs to be remotely near the World Heavyweight Championship picture.
You are taking a Vince McMahon WWE and to a Triple H WWE. Two different worlds, man. Yeah.
Finn Balor is not going to be hide nor hair near this championship for the foreseeable future. There's a better chance of Omos being World Heavyweight Champion before Finn Balor. There's a better
I'm not saying
chance
he's winning.
Omos.
I'm just saying, how dare you not include him?
Not hide nor hair. Not hide nor hair.
It's this lack of focus to why you couldn't secure your number one favorite Nikita Lyons in any of the mock draft or wrestle draft.
Fuck off, Eric Bischoff. And if you want to see more about that, go watch our shorts on YouTube. But before me and Parrish get into an even bigger discussion about wrestling and all the things that go on, thank you for joining us for our predictions for Backlash. Parrish, what are the things that you have coming up that I can ignore? I mean, that we can promote here for the show tonight?
Well, I mean, it's Wrestle Draft. We have weeks 2 to 4 coming out tomorrow on the YouTube side of things, and Twitch as well. Twitch side, yeah, and YouTube's every Wednesday, yeah. So go check that out. It's a 1:00 Eastern drop. So go check out that as we see kind of the development of this, and you might see a little bit of a preview of what Ed's fortune will be at near the end, I'll say. But and then also on Sunday we got Busting Out episode 37. Bobby and myself over at the Twitch and YouTube side at 12:15 Eastern, and then tomorrow, of course, following Backlash, we have paper reviews with me, with you, and with the host, Astrid Pizarro, producer Bobby Munson, because he needs practice with those buttons. Yeah, and then over if you remember our good old friend Josh, who was always on the Monday Night Watch Longs at it's at HCW Sports. Mm-hmm. Look forward to an interview that I'll be doing with him coming up.
Very, very nice. And of course, for me, you can find me on the Twitter at edfries12584. You can find me at some point, I guarantee it, on my own personal Twitch at edfries2002. As Parrish says, you can catch Wrestle Draft tomorrow at 1:00. You can catch me, Cody Defoe, and my tag team partner, Andre C., as we talk Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 at 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. We're going to be reviewing the show. The first at least 5 minutes will be spoiler-free. From there on, potential spoilers that will be available on the YouTubes as soon as the show finishes on the Twitch side. So definitely go ahead and join us on Twitch for that. And then every Tuesday you can join myself, and the natural Asher Pizarro as we go ahead and talk all things NXT, building to Battlegrounds, which I will be at live. So it's going to be a wonderful time. And for the review show tomorrow night, I'm going to be having the opportunity to try a can of Prime live on air. So I've heard about it for months. I'm going to go ahead and give Logan Paul a chance. He's got my 250. I'm going to have my Fruit Punch Prime, and I'm going to try it and tell you whether or not I like it more or less than our Rogue Energy.
And I think, so if anybody has anything else about Backlash, make sure you're leaving that in the comments there. And better yet, even use that beautiful email we have.
Yeah. And before we go, Parrish oh. Go ahead.
And the cutoff happens. No, but yeah, please go and check out all of our social medias there, whether it's our Twitch, our YouTube, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram. We also have a TikTok that you will never see me on, but I hear it's pretty funny and pretty entertaining. As you see on the ticker below, that is our links. We are now at 114 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you very much. But let's try to do that even more. Let's try to bump it up. Let's get to maybe 120 by the end of this weekend, shall we, people? Let's make a goal. Let's try to bump that numbers up. And yeah, if you haven't, make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, whether it's any platform, Instagram, the Twitter. Please, people, we want and we need your support so we can bust out more content for you as we are planning to make our local establishment bigger, better, badder, but more importantly, more supportive for everyone who supports us, because that is the OLE way.
For myself, OLED. For my tag team partner, Parrish, thank you for joining us, and we will see you all for the review show tomorrow night. As soon as Backlash finishes, we should be on the air within about 5 to 10 minutes. So go ahead and check us out then. We'll see you then. Goodbye!